This is another episode of Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and welcome to this week's podcast. We have another Triad of Comedy, Part 2. We did it once before, and we're bringing it back. 3 terrific headliners, all performing to entertain you. Coming up later on, a terrific headliner from right here in Northern California. This is recorded in the mid-90s. It's comedy star and one-man show professional Jack Gallagher. Also appearing, a great bit of comedy material from one of our funniest comedians, Diane Nichols. This was recorded in 1989, and I know you'll enjoy it. But coming up right now, the first of our 3 headliners on a Triad of Comedy, Part 2, is Ellis Levinson. Now, this is a little harder to hear. It's a low volume, so turn up your radio. This is recorded in the early 90s as the drug craze was going on in the entertainment industry. I'm warning you, there's some information about that. And so let's start the show with our first headliner, Ellis Levinson.
Times in my life, I admit to it, I don't like it, and I should have known the very first time I did coke. Now again, I'm going to stress that this is a true story, because if you don't believe it, it's not funny, but I'm telling you that it's an unbelievable story, but I swear it's true. I swear my mother's eyes, Jesus Christ, I swear that it's true, okay? I do a show in Reno, Nevada. I'm backstage before the second show. A guy comes, we have people from Reno? He just applauded for no reason. Oh, it's a seal. I'm sorry. Thank you. Here's a fish. Okay. What's that? You're from around Reno? Oh, from Reno? I see. And what do you do there? What's that? What are you guys like over some gambling now? You got an inspiration here? What are people breaking out and yelling boxcars back there? I don't know what's going on. No, so anyway, let me tell the story here. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt myself. What am I doing? So he says, put out your hand. I go like this, and this guy puts a mound of coke in my hand. I'm talking a pile of it. And I said, you know, I've never done this before. I've never tried. I have another show to do. Why don't I just save it for later? And he goes, I'll give you more later. Blows it in the air. Everybody else backstage is going. So after the show, he comes out of his car. I swear this is true. He brings a safe with him. He's got a safe. He opens the thing up. He's got piles of $20 bills and piles of bags of coke. The guy says to me, I love your show. Here, enjoy yourself. Take all you want. So I said, you know, I've never done this before. I better be conservative about this. So I just did like 42 lines of coke. That was it. Just 42. I figured it's free. Let me stock up now for the rest of my life. You know, so I did the coke. About a half hour later, I'm walking down the street, and I found myself doing this. What happened to my teeth? I had teeth. I brought teeth. I remember chewing. I had teeth with me. I can't feel... They're rubber. My teeth are rubber. I can't feel my goddamn teeth. And then I'm noticing, by some miracle, my throat is getting numb and sore at the same time somehow. So you try to swallow, but you can't tell if the spit's going down. It's like... And you can't feel it, you know? Then I'm sniffling. It's 90 degrees out in the summer. I'm sniffling. I touch my nose, and this nostril starts bleeding. I'm bleeding. I'm sniffling. The throat, the teeth, the whole thing. I'm getting a splitting headache, and I find myself saying, this stuff's only $100 a gram. If I wanted to do that on my own, I have to stick my head under a bulldozer. I've got a friend who does a lot of drugs. He had never been in cold weather in his life. I took him with me to Chicago, okay? It was last January. We step off the plane. There's snow all over the ground. He looks down and goes, free drugs! No, it's real snow. You snort that, you drown, you know? Have you heard about people who do so much cocaine they actually burn a hole through their septum? They perforate the septum in their nose? Have you heard about this? It's for real. This guy's good. And it's for real. And you can always spot these people, though, when they sneeze. It sounds like an industrial whistle. It's like... And construction workers are taking off. Hey, lunchtime. Here we go. I've even given up on grass, though. I can't smoke the stuff. I have nothing against it. I don't think it's any worse than alcohol. I just found that the late at night, I'd be one of those occasional smokers who'd get high and then find myself getting really hungry, but it's never like normal hungry. You find yourself saying things like, gee, a nice chocolate chip ice cream and tuna salad sandwich would go great about that. How much can onions hurt ice cream? Come on. But what made me give it up, I gave up on 2 different occasions. What made me give it up the first time is that I found myself, this is for real, standing in front of an open refrigerator, stoned out of my mind, eating directly out of the refrigerator. A little peanut butter, here we go, a little peanut butter, and a little jelly, here we go. I know, let's make a sandwich in my stomach, a little bread here, a little bread. And what goes good with peanut butter and jelly? Herring, a little herring, here we go. And screw peanut butter, I'm so stoned, I'm just eating regular butter. Yeah, it's an emergency, I'm stoned, I have no time to take it to the table. So you've all been through that, huh? Okay, yeah. It's when you start making the blue cheese pizzas that you're in real trouble, and then I quit for a while, and now we'll really spot who the smokers are in this room. We'll find out how many people have gone through this. I was through, I hadn't smoked for a couple of months. One day I'm watching Sunday football, I have nothing to do, and I see my last joint. I find it. And I said, what the hell, I'll give it one more shot. I smoked the thing, and then I'm stoned watching the game, and I remember, gee, I have to call a friend of mine. So I call the guy up, the phone is ringing at his end. All of a sudden I get really involved in a real good play in the game. He picks up and goes, hello? And I find myself thinking, who the hell did I just call? I have no idea who this is. Hello? Ellis, are you stoned again? Oh, great. Now he knows who I am, and I still don't know who I called. So you people are into it, huh? That's... Well, listen, before I sew up here, I just want to bring a little thing to mind here. Something in the news I wanted to talk about. Henry Kissinger, folks, the guy is back in the news once again. And, before I even speak about that, there's one other thing I had to touch upon. I want to do a couple of I talked about consumer stuff. I want to do a couple of consumer things for you here, okay? Here's a little way to fight back. Forget David Horowitz. He always comes out and says, did you get ripped off? Don't buy there again. What'd you go, college, David? Come on, give me a break. That guy doesn't buy it. Here's a way to fight back. You go to your newsstand or your mailbox, you pick up your favorite magazine, doesn't matter what it is. You start leafing through the magazine. I haven't have a copy of Time here. It doesn't matter. You start leafing through the magazine, and that happens. Every week, this little sucker falls out. And every week you go, oh, crap, not again. But then, what do? You bend down, you pick it up, and you put it back in the magazine. Well, I've got a cure for this problem, folks. Next TV show I do, I am asking everyone in America to not fill this out. Just nail it in. Costing 20 cents postage due on every card. 20 million copies of Time magazine a week. $4 million a week in 1 month. They're bankrupt. Screw 'em. I'll tell you another way to fight back. Amusement parks, the big ripoff now. You don't pay for rides anymore. You pay one flat exorbitant fee, which entitles you to stand on all the lines you want for the rest of the day. What a good deal that is. Well, here's what you do. Every amusement park has at least one roller coaster kind of ride. You go creeping up the hill, you go zooming down the hill, and then you go into that turn where everybody screams, ah! Now here's what you do. You get a life-size inflatable doll. You dress it up, you deflate it, you tuck it under your arm, you sneak it on the ride. Okay? As you're going up the hill, you go zooming down the hill. As you go into the turn, everybody screams, you take the doll and throw it off. Watch everyone on the ground going,
ah! Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ellis Levinson live on stage. We had the pleasure of having him as one of our headliners over many years. He has since left the comedy business, went straight into acting, and continues to act in Southern California. Hey, coming up right now, a terrific comedian, one of our regular headliners, always very funny. I know you'll enjoy her. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Diane Nichols.
much. It's a good day for me if I leave the house, the back of my skirt's not tucked into my pantyhose. Life is embarrassing. I'm always waving back at someone who's really waving to the person behind me. Embarrassing things happen a lot to women. We don't like to talk about it, do we? So let's. Let me ask you women this. You ever go out drinking with your girlfriends? And I mean serious drinking. I'm talking bachelorette party kind of drinking. So drunk you think this guy's trying to pick you up and he keeps coming over to the table and you don't even realize he's the waiter. And you're going, here he comes again. You take him, Mary. That kind of drinking. And you're wearing a jumpsuit. I love jumpsuits. Up until you have to go to the ladies' room. Then it's a straight jacket and you're playing beat the clock. So here you are, you're drunk out of your mind wearing that fabulous jumpsuit. You get home, you don't take it off the jumpsuit, you peel it off. Roll it in a ball and kick it in your closet. A week later, you find it again, you put it on, great. You wear it, you don't realize the original pantyhose is still stuck in there somewhere. So about an hour into the date, you have a third foot. But you don't see it first, do you? Avoid that embarrassment. I don't think so. You know who sees it first. He does. A very frightened man. He sees it working its way down your leg. He's thinking, what the hell is that? He's hoping you're giving birth. I think women, though, have it easier than men when it comes to getting that first date, don't you? Because they pretty much still have to call us up. That means we know they like us. They called. Here's a clue. I mean, no one ever calls you up and says, I won't be dating you. Oh, good, I can leave the house now. I can have a life. Thanks for checking in. But men don't have that privilege, do you guys? You have no idea. The very first time you dial her number, her roommate could be answering that phone going, didn't I tell you this one would come? Oh, yeah, she's right here. Yeah, she wants to talk to you. Are you the one the waistband of your underwear hangs over your belt? Yeah, she's hot for you. Of course, men have to come up with the great lines, and I've heard the best. This man called me up, he said, Diane, I like a woman can give me a real challenge. I mailed him my bank statement. Figure this out, big guy, call me back with that total. I still date him. But at the end of the day, he pulled the oldest line in the world. We get back into the car. He looks across the car at me. He's blowing smoke out through his nose. Very sexy. Looked like he was steam pressing his tie. And he said, hey, baby, how about breakfast? Should I call you or nudge you? I said, oh, please. Write me. You know who I like? I like guys that soup up their cars, then try and frighten you with them. They take you outside. Hey, baby, want to see this baby leave the ground? I said, yeah. You want to see what I had for lunch? Who are these men that think they're Captain Kirk in the Enterprise? We try to look like we're having a real good time. It's like, yeah, I'm this one. What is this, warp speed? Guess I won't need that facelift, huh? But my favorite is the guy with a huge car stereo tape deck with the speakers mounted on the roof. All right, guys, you all have a buddy with that car. You won't ride with him. Because they lock you in that car, and I think you know what they do to you in there. That's right. They sing to you. Everyone knows singing to a woman makes her hot. Everyone but women know this. Only women applaud. And they sing to you with that hot face. We all know the hot face, don't we? It kind of looks like he's having a stroke. And you're thinking, should I kiss him or take over the wheel? And the song always has a meaning, doesn't it? It's like, every move you make, yeah. That's right, baby. I'm going to be watching you, yeah. They think they're turning you off. And you're thinking, if I jump out now, I might only break a leg. I'll go for it. I think women should drive on dates. I think that'll impress men, don't you? Especially the way I drive. My friends hint that I speed. Because every time I take a curve, my plastic Jesus hangs on to the dice. I love to drive, I just hate to stop, especially for pedestrians. I have a great solution. I find that if you just tie some torn clothing to your front bumper, you can fairly breeze through town, you know what I'm saying? Who the hell's going to cross the street in front of you? The cops are afraid of this. You know when it's dangerous to drive? You ever drive your parents around as passengers in your car? What an ugly story. My parents hold a couple things against me from the past that is so exaggerated. How the hell can you give a dog whiplash? He's one of these dogs that wears turtleneck sweaters. I don't want him looking out the window. I'm afraid people will think that he's my kid. I mean, let's face it, you whiz by 55 miles an hour, you don't say, I just saw a dog in a sweater. You say, oh my God, I just saw the ugliest kid in the world. Honey, catch up with that car. Andrew, you better try on it.
That was Diane Nichols. Man, she is a funny young lady. She worked for us for many, many years, part of the Laughs Unlimited family, so it's always great to showcase some of her terrific comedy. And speaking of good comedy, here comes a headliner from right out of Northern California. He's kind of well known for doing his one-man shows, Letters from Declan, and more letters to Declan. And he is a very talented headliner. He had his own talk show here in Northern California and now is retired from comedy and show business. But back in the 90s, he was one of the funniest headliners cruising the country. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little bit of comedy by Jack Gallagher.
Thank you very much. How you doing, all right? Good. Very nice to be here. It's especially nice. It's a terrible day, terrible day. I went shopping with my wife today for a dog. We had an unbelievable argument. She wants to get a poodle. I won't own a poodle because I think poodles should be legal to hunt. Yes, I am so sick of poodle owners saying to me, Pierre is an excellent watchdog. This is a dog that's afraid of his own shadow. He's not keeping a lot of people out of the yard. Okay, you want to leave the yard, please, right now? I'm not going to come out here again, okay? All right? I hate the guys that will hunt rabbits and squirrels and stuff them and put them on the fireplace like it's some big deal. You know what I mean? Like, yep, killed a rabbit. And you notice, the animals are never stuffed like they were shot. You never see any rabbit stuffed like... No, they always look like they enjoyed being killed. Little squirrel with a nut in his hand. And ducks, too. See, we should not hunt ducks because you use a duck call. It makes it think there's another duck down here that wants to be friendly. So he comes down to talk, you blow him out of the water. That's not fair. That's like ducks hunting people and giving them a people call. So you'd be walking through the woods, they'd blow the people call. I'd like to see a man in some camouflage clothing. They'd have you on their fireplace at home. We had a dog when I was a kid. We had a real dog. But then we could have anything we wanted. We had so many kids in my family. My parents would let us have anything. And I don't remember how many kids we had because we never got an exact count. But we never got out of control. My father knew the right thing to say every time to keep us right in line. You know what I mean? Those little key phrases. You'd be wrestling. He'd say, hey, calm down if I were you. You don't even belong here. We bought you. Or he'd say to us, you know, I look at you and I think we got the wrong baby at the hospital. Said that all the time. Drove my sister Ching Lee crazy. He'd be the one that did the disciplining, though. You know, the same as your father did. They all have the same technique. They don't ever want to spank you, so they give you those little previews of coming attractions. Come up into your room and say, what is going on up here? What is this, a playground? I have had it up to here with you. Then they talk to you in staccato like you're stupid. Now knock. Oh! My mother didn't hit us. She'd save it for him. She'd say, no, that's a terrible thing you've done, but I don't think I'm going to punish you right now. Do you know why? No. Because I have a very sneaky feeling someone's going to be interested in hearing about this when he gets home from work. And she'd spend the rest of the day torturing you. My brothers and sisters would follow me around the house. Hey, Dad's home. He'd come in, she'd start riding. I have had it. I have had it with him. I have 8 more just like him around the house all day long, and I'll be crazy to put up with this for 1 more minute. Now, are you going to do something about this? And the father's face would be red and the veins bulge, and he'd say, what is it? What is it with you? Look at me! What is wrong with you? I'm under a lot of stress. Is this true? Is everything she's telling me true? No, she's a liar. And she's been drinking all day. Been great. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Gallagher always entertains. I hope you enjoyed this triad of comedy. We had 3 headliners, Ellis Levinson, Diane Nichols, and that was Jack Gallagher. And thanks for listening to the show. Stay tuned next week. We'll have another great show. Thanks for listening. Be sure to share and tell your friends. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand Up Comedy, Your Host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.